Waiting on Katie to show up, and then we'll get started. Should be here within a minute. You're here. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I had to redo that moment because it glitched out last time I did it. There we go. I got the suit. So let's finish this game. All right. Here we go. Do we need a recap or no? Because I don't even know how I would do a recap, to be honest with you, because there is so much stuff happening from like game 1 until now. I don't even know how. So I'm just gonna go jump into it. We can try to do a recap later, I guess, if that indeed happens. Maybe a bit. Where do I even start? With like Misty Faye, or like I don't even know. I honestly don't know where to start on a recap. Please, I need a recap. Okay. So I probably don't have everything straight here, but pretty much Misty Faye was the start the beginning. Okay, well the DL6 incident happened, and that's because blah blah blah. No. I can't start that far off. Where we last left off. Okay, where we last left off was we just went to court and we brought Iris to court, and she's testifying against us basically and saying that Maya did it. And throughout the course of court, we realized this isn't Iris. This is Dahlia Hawthorne. So we are now cross-examining Dahlia Hawthorne. I have my guide set right? No, I don't. I adjust my guide. Yeah. So there was a murder on the other in that little island area with that temple thing, and they transferred her body all the way across like the river thing by somehow tying it and doing a pendulum and getting it to the other side. And we know Iris is involved, and Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't being channeled by Pearl. And what else? Like, we're just trying to put it all together. Like, we still don't know why Misty Faye was there. There was a letter sent by Morgan Faye that's put this whole thing into motion. And we're just gonna figure out, like how she died and all that. And yeah, I don't know. We can try to recap everything at the end, but there's a lot. Like, I'd have to start all the way back at game 1. Hopefully that's good enough. Go. Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness.
Yes, how can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, We'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. I have water. I already got it. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night. There's no music for some reason. I'm sure there will be like right now. Oh, by the way, I love her theme song. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that. I really love this song. It gets stuck in my head all the time.
The whole plan began with my death. That stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. But for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong. It seems to have succeeded anyway.
So that means you really are. Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fay?
Yes, you have a problem with that?
Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, right? You got a problem, solve it during the cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well. I had it first. To kill Maya? Could it be true? Yeah, of course that's the plan. The whole plan began with my death. You were executed last month, correct?
Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant.
Wow, they straight up friggin' hanged her in City Hall, apparently. How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay?
Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Huh, are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter.
All to make Pearl Fay the master of Curaine?
She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger daughter, Misty, took her place as the master. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh? Yeah, lethal injection or the electric chair, but no, they straight up friggin' hanged her. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to install her own daughter as the next master. You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct?
Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister, Iris.
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
You mean Iris?
Yes, my father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? And on top of that, my father has absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
Really horrible one was that woman, that bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fay heaped all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back.
Hopes and dreams. Okay.
All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family.
Her bloodline actually is the main family, it's her sister. Literally her blood. But anyway, but for it to work, Maya Fay would first have to die. Maya would have to die? But why?
For her bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya.
How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of master. That's all.
That's ridiculous.
She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally the life of Maya Fey as well.
How could anyone do that? The idea was for me to kill Maya and then have the blame pinned on Iris. You were gonna kill Maya?
Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead, and there's nothing any of you can do to me.
Grr! So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin? On Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple?
She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini.
I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why would you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place? She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway.
The plan went wrong. It seems to have succeeded anyway. You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of Master will pass on to Pearl Fey.
That's absurd! Maya's she's just trapped inside the sacred cavern.
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny? Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivety and your pathetic faith in other people.
I just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value, other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it. Being the kind and gentle soul that you are, you may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me why.
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead? You understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan and her plan so she could accomplish her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Revenge? It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I gotta keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan and what she was after as well. Alright, let's present evidence. Do you understand why I would want to kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was? Present Mia. Could it be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore, because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead, and you can't take revenge against them either.
You wanted to take revenge on someone.
I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey.
I somehow knew this was it.
I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up.
And the reason it was impossible, was it perhaps because Mia Fey had already died?
Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away that person that Mia Fey loved most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans.
Just for that? For that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead.
I sentence you to spirit prison for 1,000 years. I actually have that power.
I already told you, there's not a thing you can do to me.
Grr!
That night. About 9:30 p.m., I had materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warding hood.
I know, right? Bunch of psychopaths.
Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hasakura Temple.
So, it was at least a Nim who channeled her after all.
That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back.
What did you do then?
The kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I got up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and...
So then you're saying you stabbed Maya?
It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory.
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed?
At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a French fry with a plastic fork, because eating that way would be weird.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her.
I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end.
That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops.
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was... Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern.
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there.
But how did you end up in there?
I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead.
Friggin' Maya probably channeled you on the other side of the thing. I don't know.
I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For a ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
Didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside the sacred cavern. I am ready to pass judgment against someone for this, but I don't know who.
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who? Could it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll and gravy.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
Flies had already started to gather.
The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Hey there, little lady. What you doing on the other side of those bars?
Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse, as I'd hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up all by herself.
The real Iris?
She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was alright. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me. I had assumed that it was Pearl Fay.
Well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions, and as we all know, she has a lot of spiritual power. I'm just pretending to know what I'm talking about.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was... Misty Fay, the picture book author.
What did... Oh, okay, so you were gone, and what did you miss? Okay, Dahlia is recounting where she was during the whole night of the crime thing. She said she woke up in the sacred cavern after attacking Maya, and she thought that Pearl had been using her the whole time, or Pearl had summoned her the whole time. She found out it was Misty Fay that had summoned her. Meaning we don't know where Pearl was during this, and she, I guess, swapped places with Iris after Iris came and visited her. She was stuck in the cavern for a while, waiting for Gumshoe to go away. She set the locks and stuff. She figured out how to get out of the locks, then she set them later or something again. Anyway.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden, it was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fay. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother.
Ugh! No way!
Order in the court. What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fay. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fay's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Ridiculous! That's nonsense!
Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Fay had disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple, that much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else?
The Eagle River.
Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever.
I know, I like this song too. It's so good.
So, what do you have to say now, Phoebe?
Ooh!
Oops. Sorry. That's my phone. I'm gonna let it go a little longer though, just so we can listen to it. Everybody likes this song, so why not?
I love how his ringtone is his theme. As if it's like a real thing that plays in that world, and he's like,
I like that song, I'm going to make it my ringtone.
I need that to be like my wake-up alarm or something when someone calls me. What kind of ringtone is that?
Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern.
That's great! What about Maya?
There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? Was the accused, Sister Iris.
Huh?
Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that.
Oh, you're Maya. I got it. So what about Maya? Where is she?
There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern.
No, it can't be.
I told you, didn't I? She's dead.
No, no! She's totally freaking Maya. Remember she said she woke up in the sacred cavern. Maya was in the sacred cavern. She's totally Maya.
It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Tanim, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped into her death in the raging waters of Eagle River, even though we have no evidence of that.
It can't be.
Huh? Huh. Right. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
I think that's what Mia says?
No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot?
Does she know she's in Maya's body? No, she doesn't know who channeled her.
According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden. Which means if Maya had thrown herself into the river, must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge.
That's right. That's where she jumped from.
But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there.
What? Yeah, because there's a bunch of rocks and stuff.
Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again.
So it's impossible? Sort of like somebody swinging from one side of the river to the other? Is it more impossible than that, Godot? Okay, Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River.
Well, Mr. Wright, as Miss Hawthorne claims, Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
Yeah, it's the Hazakura Temple map. Right there. It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness.
What did you say?
11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Just take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a huge rock shelf.
Oh, you're right.
She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. Here goes the music.
Ah!
Huh. So you finally figured it out.
You! No!
Order!
You're just playing with me. Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding.
Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Yes, just a few minutes ago.
Maya Faye wasn't inside the sacred cavern. We know that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River.
Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities.
Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be.
What? What is this one possibility you're talking about?
That's obviously a bluff. So where's her dead body then?
Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally, the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there's a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya is this very instant? Maya Faye is in this very courtroom. There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom.
What?
Maya Faye is here. You say she's here in my courtroom. Where? Where is she hiding?
Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see.
So what?
But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood.
What do you mean?
Tell me something. She said she woke up in the sacred cavern. That's where Maya was supposed to be training, right? She didn't know who summoned her, so she had to be Maya. She got out of the sacred cavern, so she took Maya's body out of the sacred cavern with her. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Why, that's obvious. It's Pearl Faye, that pathetic little sniveling runt.
Nope, you're wrong. She couldn't summon you and thought she was a loser, so she was hanging out with Larry. An even worse punishment. Oh, sorry. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it.
I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it happened.
Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit.
Someone called me before Pearl did? But who?
Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right about now. Am I correct? It wasn't Pearl's that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could. This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left.
Come on already. I want to know. I can't stand the tension.
Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Faye.
What?
But how could that be? Remember what this witness, Dahlia Hawthorne, said about her goal.
She said that her goal was to kill Maya Faye.
Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her...
Huh. Well, Gramps, what would happen?
Could it be?
It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you.
To protect herself from me?
Yes. On the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Faye. Path back to Hazakura Temple was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then, the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide?
You mean, that's when she channeled me?
All this time you thought you had been channeled by pearls. That's why it would never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you!
No, don't say that. You're saying that I, Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp?
Yes.
Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't that obvious?
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into Eagle River. Nice suit, by the way, Phoenix. This is the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple.
I don't believe you. Stupid little girl like that who's never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea?
They're getting to that right now. Well, May, of course. Mia!
Mia Fey!
It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. Looks like I get to pwn you in court again, you noob.
My girlfriend. So it's true. It was you.
Yes.
Ha! You're something else.
But what? What are you doing here?
That hair! It's pearls, right? Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the inner temple garden. And then, in the final moment of the fight, you lost consciousness.
Was stabbed by Maya Fey.
Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you.
She did. Not terribly surprising, since she was about to be killed.
When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do.
She did that. I can't believe it.
Of course, I didn't have all the details, but one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was...
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free. Free? What do you mean? It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. Preferably in the reverse order. I'm glad I specified that. So it was Maya who put that lock on there.
Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things?
If she hadn't done it. How did she channel Mia? I'm confused. She just did it. She's Maya and she can channel Mia. She was like, oh crap, I don't know what to do. I got attacked and someone died, and then she channeled Mia. And she wrote a note, channeled Mia, and then Mia read the note and then wrote something back, and then she unchanneled. If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearls? Yes, Pearl didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother's, Morgan Fey's, instruction. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So, that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne would have used the body of Pearl Fey to kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you? I won't forget this.
Why not just admit it, Dahlia Hawthorne? Your little plan was nothing but a big failure. Yes, another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? Get wrecked.
What do you mean, another? By another?
Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure.
How dare you?
11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on a $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Falls escaped from and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed.
Shut your mouth. It wasn't my fault. It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman.
And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... Doug Swallow, I think that was his name, you end up killing someone else. I guess Phoenix doesn't remember his name, but I do. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny.
You wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face.
And now this! You've messed up again! You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you, or inside you, or... She was you! I don't know. I don't know.
Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey!
Okay.
You spinster! I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-headed jerk to guilt.
Sorry.
And if only you had gotten the spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death.
True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. For I am already dead. Omaira Shindam me.
What did you say?
Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you'll never defeat me. As long as I'm around, you're destined to lose for all eternity.
Grr! Grr! Grr!
I remember what you said earlier in the trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead.
What about it?
Then you said,
Even when the body dies, the ego, it lives on forever.
that's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, the infinite high school loser. A miserable, pathetic, weak creature who can never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that, no hope of freedom, since the day you were executed. The narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp.
You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you?
It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now. I don't know.
I'm not ready to go. Neek! Cease!
Now then, I assume you are the real Iris.
Yes, I was just rescued from the I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see.
I know, poor Maya.
In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Mr. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne?
If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from.
Seems that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim in this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, were also victims of this wicked and selfish plan.
Wait? Yes, Your Honor. Did she just arrive? Where's Maya? She's there. Maya, passed out.
The tragedy of the Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems.
She's still on the floor. They probably picked her up or something. I don't know. The screen went black for a second, I think.
It would be best for everyone if no further attempts was made to channel that spirit again.
Your Honor.
Yes, what is it?
About this whole spirit medium thing, it's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now.
Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to study up on the Kurain channeling technique.
Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I'd be so scared to be a spirit medium, I'd never want to be possessed. Well, yeah, they always have to try the channel, I think, though. Yeah.
I've seen quite a few things in my many years on the bench, and in all that time I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different, and it takes place in its own world, if you will. Meaning, next case I won't remember this. In order to fully understand that world, first we must have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ.
Never thought of it that way.
At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
You're a little too fast with that gavel, Your Honor.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means. What? Right. But remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony. Why is your badge on the wrong side? It's actually mirrored. Like my webcam is mirrored. Huh? Dahlia's testimony? I mirrored it so it looks like I'm looking towards the game as opposed to looking that way. I could switch it, then it would be wrong in real life. I don't know.
I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed.
Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right.
The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. At least the name. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did. This isn't over! Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence. No way!
But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony.
The prosecution is ready to call our final witness.
Final witness?
This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye.
Indeed.
Sorry to ask, but why does that guy look like he's from 3030? Oh. They don't actually explain it.
Indeed.
He got poisoned one time, and so he wears a funny mask. That's pretty much the most explanation we get about why his mask is like that. Why he's got that on. Is it really alright, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's alright, Madam Attorney.
Very well then. Who is this final witness?
Ha! Isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the event, and will put the final dagger in this case.
Someone who saw the murder take place.
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her very own eyes.
Hello, peoples. You mean Maya? You can't. She can't testify after what she's just been through.
We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fade to the witness stand.
Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fay to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial.
Hey, right. I've got something to say to you, so listen up.
What is it?
I don't think much of you as a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even a faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
You've got some nerve.
But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself.
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
But I got Mia right there to help me. Is he calling Mia ugly? Okay, anyway. February 10th, 256. District Court, Lobby number 1.
Truly sorry about everything. You were working so hard to defend me, but I was missing all day, and we didn't even have a chance to talk.
She's right. When I met Iris at the training hall yesterday, they had already switched places. Wait, that says finale. Is this the last bit of the game? Yes, this is the very end of the third game in the trilogy. If you don't want to get super spoilers, I would say I'm about to get spoiled for a game that I would watch for the first time. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen if you keep watching, just so you know.
Wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on.
Well, it wasn't your fault. You were locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you, why did you help your sister out as much as you did? Huh? If you had tried to get help at the Sacred Cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent the entire day locked up in there.
My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by her mother and never got any love from our father either.
Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini who was like a mother to me. If only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart and so strong. She never complained about a thing. That's why I promised her that I would help her.
Are you talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes, I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. The last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister Valerie ended up...
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly. And Terry Falls died too.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth. Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right. Iris, there's one more thing I have to ask you.
Yes, what is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Elise Denim, was it really you?
Yes, it was me. At night, after I rang the lights out bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed to the inner temple. But...
The path to the inner temple was cut off, right?
Exactly. Can't just leave the body here. So you've got to do this exactly as I say, got it?
Oh yeah, and then she made the body fly over there with the guide wire or whatever.
It was me. I was the one that received her body. A murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held.
I knew it! So the actual murder weapon was the staff!
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile.
But why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with a shisto.
The thing I can never pronounce.
I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Seven branched sword, that's what it means. I don't know. Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Oh, let me get back. I gotta do her voice so I get all close to the mic.
Sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. I can't say who did it.
I see. Victim staff updated in the court record. Has a sword hidden inside, the actual weapon to used to murder the victim.
Defendant!
Yes?
The judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers.
This murder sounds too complicated. It's been built up for a very long time. That's why it's the very end of a trilogy.
He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. So it's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning. Phoenix. I got to say Phoenix one more time in her voice. Mia! How is Maya doing? Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly in this case. I see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Nim really was? Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew. But why? Maya's stronger than you think. I knew she could take it. All of it. No, she just has a dude's voice. What do you mean by that? I want you to figure... I just have a variety of voices I give people, and she just has like this dude voice. Anyway. I want you to figure out that answer by yourself. The trial's about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet? Iris wouldn't tell me who called her, but still. I think that just maybe I know who it was. I don't think she started with a dude's voice when I first started playing the series, but somehow it became that. I don't know. Last night, the victim was killed in the garden of the Inner Temple, and the criminal wasn't just there by accident, which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning. And one more thing. The thing is, like, I can do 2 or 3 female voices tops, and then that's about it. So, the victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side by pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck in the Inner Temple side for almost an entire day. Exactly. So the culprit was someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day. That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win or lose. Okay, I got it. Thank you, Mia. Finally, it's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway?
And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me, all by myself. Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. That's my name. Alright. Here we go. It's too hot to be wearing a suit today. That's all I can say. But it is for the good of this stream that I wear this suit, so it shall remain. Alright. Let me just adjust. Okay, there we go, and we're good to go. Alright.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier.
Tests? I think it was the blade, right?
Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree.
Oh yeah, that! I totally forgot about it.
That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim.
Yes, water. Don't forget water. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or...?
Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on the dagger was not the victim's blood.
The old man's name is Judge. Yes, you never learn his name. He even signed something for you later and you're like, I can't read it.
That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial.
So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. How come I can't sub? Oh, because I'm not like... You have to, there's like a path you have to go on before you can get subs, and I'm not like affiliate yet, so... yeah. You can only follow. That's all you can do. Then whose was it? Dagger updated in the court record.
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show some firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. Let's finish this quickly.
Agreed.
Very well. Please bring in the last witness.
Alright, I get to do Maya's voice again. Crack the neck, get ready for this. Alright.
Witness, please tell us your name and profession.
Maya... Wow, instantly screwed up. Maya Fey, my profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices. Maya?
According to this magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the Curane channeling technique.
Hey, I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't know, or I don't want any more to do with it. Oh, Maya. The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable.
Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the Inner Temple, and you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Donim's murder. Is this correct?
I didn't see any...
Objection! Straighten up this instant, young lady.
Huh?
Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen?
Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor. Oh, sorry. I usually read the titles of the section that we're on. At the Inner Temple is what it was. Okay. I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been with the staff.
Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
Hey, I'm sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. I don't know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Oh, hello. Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone.
It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone.
So many people joining in for the finale, jeez.
Very well then, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
Maya, hang in there. She doesn't look well at all. Okay. I never actually played this game, and I always wanted to. Well, they have the trilogy on the Switch, and I wonder if it's on Steam. I actually don't know. I'm gonna guess it's not? I don't know. Alright, so I was passing through the garden on the way to a spare prep room when it happened. We'll just press all our statements. Who else was on the inner temple that night? Do you mean in?
Well, Sister Bikini, of course. But I remember her saying that Iris would be coming later as well.
You should. This is the ending, last case for the third game. Yeah. I don't have to because I'm here for the ending. There's so much stuff that leads up to this, it's ridiculous. On the day of the incident, Edgeworth met Bikini at Hazakura Temple. That means she couldn't be the criminal. I know, her name is terrible. So then, did Iris actually come later like she said?
Well, let me think.
She said she got to choose her name, so she chose Bikini. I don't know why. She seems confused. It's probably because she's so tired.
No, I'm sure I didn't see her. She must have come while I was preparing for training.
Suddenly someone struck me over the head. Would you say the games are sequential? 1, 2, and 3 are sequential. 4, you don't really need to know the first 3 games. It's kind of the first 3 are a trilogy, and then the next 3 are kind of their own trilogy, but they all kind of call back. Who did it? Who hit you?
Ah, well, I didn't see who it was. I was hit from behind.
You didn't see the person, but after that, your attacker was in front of you. How could you not see who it was?
Oh, let me think for a sec. I'm sorry, I just can't remember.
Maya's really having a hard time. What should I do? Press harder, be a jerk. It's on the sale for the Switch right now. Nice. Come on, Maya, this isn't making sense. Why didn't you see this person?
Well, let me think. It was, oh yeah, that's right. It was dark, that's it.
It was dark.
It's not good to have too much light around when someone is undergoing spiritual training.
Come to think of it, there was an earlier testimony to that effect as well. So, it was dark in the garden on the night of the crime.
Which is why she didn't see her attacker. I thought maybe she was trying to hide something, but I guess not.
Judging by the testimony this far, the identity of the attacker was most likely
the spirit that was channeled by Elisa Nim, Dahlia Hawthorne. It's because if I ever try to do Mexican, it sounds Russian, apparently. That's what I always get when I try that. She's not Mexican anyway, so I don't know.
Very well. Please continue with your testimony. What happened after you were struck on the head?
I stumbled and ended up against the stone lantern. I can't do a Hispanic accent. It always turns Russian. I don't know why. Anyway, what happened afterwards?
My attacker was in front of me, blocking off my escape, I think.
You think?
After getting hit like that, I was in a state of panic.
Yeah, Godot actually is Hispanic, and I just can't do his accent. She's supposed to be Japanese, and I don't know what's going on with her voice at all.
There were only 2 things rolling around in my mind at the time.
Well now, this is beginning to get interesting.
What were the 2 things rolling around in your mind?
My name is Maya Fey. 1 + 1 = 2. You see, for some crazy reason, I was afraid I was going to lose my memory. I know it's odd, considering my life was in danger, but that's who it was.
That's a very gumshoe-like statement she's making there.
That's not odd at all. Your actions are understandable given the circumstances. So, what did you do then?
I think I screamed, "Help me." You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark, and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man, a woman, an adult, a child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Do the options you choose drastically change the game's outcome? No, it's basically like a book. There's only a couple times when you can get like a bad end, I think.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
And sometimes you can get slightly different dialogue depending on like which evidence you give them.
I thought this person might attack me, so I... Anyway, I'm pretty sure I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow, it sounds like poor little Maya really was scared out of her mind, but I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details? Let's slide my last hope. Wait a minute, Maya. What's this my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No, that's what you said. You said my last hope.
What? I said what?
Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me."
Yeah?
But you testified that you screamed that because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh, well, that's like, what do you call it when that happens?
Maya's not doing so well up there.
Oh, yeah, oh, that's right. I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right. It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah!
What is it now?
I messed up. I didn't mean to let it slip out.
Huh?
Witness, are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person.
I am, well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
Ha! It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
A ton of pressure.
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber.
Witness, the information you just presented is vital to the case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
Okay. Here we go. I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern. So, the stone lantern wasn't lit that night, so let's present that. So there was a man standing behind your attacker?
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Nim, otherwise known as Misty Fate, your mother.
The killer.
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you?
What was the meaning of this, Mr. Wright?
To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed a huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No.
Order in the court. Mr. Godot, explain this.
Add the pureness of milk, the perfect, clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. A cup of cafe au lait.
I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Cafe au lait.
Oh, okay. Cafe au lait. I don't know.
Is that even legal?
What? What?
Mr. Wright's words are the milk and you are the spoon. Your Honor,
I'm a spoon. I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know.
you must have noticed the tooth, right? This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that.
Sorry, but that's not gonna cut it.
What did you say?
If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony. Nick! May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. And she quite clearly described him as a man. Ah! In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker. No!
Order, order, order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Now are you saying Miss Fey saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection! Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection! There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Also, I know his name is pronounced Godot, I just pronounce it Godot because I like it better that way. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark, and now you're trying to cover for him.
Cover for the man that killed her mother.
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
Ha! You talk a good game, Trite, but let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth.
All right, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person who you say Miss Fey saw in the darkness?
Because it was pitch black, Miss Fey was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes?
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
Turn the lights off. It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off.
This, but it can't be.
Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Right?
Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Order, order, order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Huh. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that.
Maya?
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man for a totally different reason.
What?
Witness, Mr. Wright, what the...
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering?
I like how he chatters that. I don't know.
If it was worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules.
All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but
Oh, I remember now. Oh, I remember this.
when I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
That's not true. I remember this.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No need to apologize. It's just as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Because only men can move snow, I guess. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
He scooped up some snow, man. I'm pretty sure women can scoop snow. I mean, I'm not a rocket scientist, but... is this your first time playing through? No, I played this a long time ago. Like, a little bit after it came out. It's been a long time, though, so I don't remember all the details. But every once in a while we get close to something and I'm like, I remember now. Anyway, so let's start pressing Maya. When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. So you lost consciousness when you were in the garden, is that right?
Yes, I think it happened when the victim was stabbed.
So the person that carried you into the inner temple?
It could only have been the killer.
That's what I think, too.
So the killer carried Maya to the inner temple. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
I don't know.
It looks like she doesn't have enough confidence. I think I need to gather some more information before I ask her again. Oh, I think that's hints to what to do with this part of the game. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. The torches were lit?
Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole crime scene had changed.
I'm gonna say that it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be?
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the conditions of the crime scene.
And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. So you're saying that the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy, way too heavy for me to use.
How big are these shovels? Jeez.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood.
Looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them.
Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man. So, you're saying that you never saw the killer, right?
Yes,
But earlier you very clearly stated that you saw a man behind your attacker.
Nick, I'm sorry.
The killer certainly went through a lot of trouble. Moving the body by pendulum, manipulating the crime scene. But for what purpose? Why do all that? Maybe Maya knows more than she's letting on. Okay, wait. Oh, right. So he wanted me to come back to this statement after I had talked to her for a bit. By the time I got to the garden, the place had totally changed. So I'll press that again. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? Like, we already basically went through this, but they're gonna add some new stuff to it. There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide. There we go.
The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes, I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me, for my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one left at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back to the garden, had come back and looked at the garden.
She may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer...
I'll get some water. Certain voices are a little harder on the old throat there.
Cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information.
Oh yeah, the Godot gulp, like, or whatever.
I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alright. I think it was for my sake that the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened. Right, so we need to know why the killer didn't clean up the evidence on the lantern that had her name written in blood on it. The body of Elistanim was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd.
Oh, and what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya.
Ah!
If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe off the writing on the lantern? The music. Music in this game is too good.
You're right. Order. But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed, but it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow. Then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern?
I'm assuming you remember, Katie. We talked about this lantern before. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
The killer didn't notice it. Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought.
The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, why? They wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it.
But what? That doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There was no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that.
Remember when Gumshoe was like, "Should I wipe it off, pal?" or whatever. You're right. There's no way any normal person would.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be? Who is this person that could have failed to miss or to notice the bloody writing?
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
You can't see everything.
And remember, in case 3, he couldn't see the red stain on Maggie Bird's apron. And in case 2, he couldn't see some writing or something in regards to mask. Something like that.
Is that correct, Mr. Godot?
Which was also red. Written on a white surface. This lantern was submitted as evidence yesterday. Or today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented.
This lantern. There's something written on it.
How did he know about the blood on the snow? He assumed there was blood on the snow, but he couldn't see it, so he cleared out like a wide area because he just knew it was there, but he couldn't see it, right? That's why it's cleared in such a weird way.
Why, it's written in blood.
Nonsense. This lantern, it is as clean as a whistle.
And that happened earlier, too. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? By the way, Katie, when we played game 1, I asked you to remember the name of the killer who killed Godot's girlfriend. Do you remember that guy's name? Because this is where the fan theory comes in, right here. This line of dialogue. The killer's name was Red White. That's right. We went through this once before. During the poisoning case at Trebienne.
This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time. And somehow spilled coffee on.
There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court?
Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be?
Don't play games, prosecutor. The blood-colored stain that smeared all over the apron.
That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about the bloodstain.
You could see the coffee. You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup because it was red.
Ha! It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one who can't see them?
So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the writing on the lantern?
Hey, Gramps, didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea.
What? It's so random. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Nim, also known as Miss Misty Fey.
It's hard to believe this may be true, however. Once again, Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you.
Ha! Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Besides, it's not likely it's my name that's written there.
I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red.
This is rich. Go on. Or do go on, try it.
The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow.
The snow. How so?
Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area?
Yes, why didn't he just take that area? Could it be?
Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow, and so he had to remove all the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area.
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark?
Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine.
It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Oh, wait, just a minute.
Maya!
What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer. After all, he didn't even come to the inner temple until 2 days after the murder took place. He didn't show up until after the old bridge got fixed.
Maya. You can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm...
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist.
She didn't. I'm afraid I don't follow.
Are you senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne.
Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony. Nick, please listen to me.
Maya, do you plan to cover for Godot no matter what the cost? If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. Means we're going to hear the whole truth. I say we should not silence her.
Huh, nicely done, Trite.
Very well. Let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling, and my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearlie was there, at the inner temple too.
Yeah, little Pearls. I forgot about her. Okay, after the incident.
Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night.
Yeah, Pearls did it. Pearls killed her.
The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearlie first and cheered her right up.
Oh, I can just imagine Godot cheering up Pearls.
You want some coffee, little girl?
Okay.
Who is this Pearlie?
He has no memory. Like, seriously, dude.
That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearlie would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Great words to say in court. Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath.
Huh. The prosecution has no objection. We believe the witness.
Mr. Godot.
Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections.
This is highly unusual, but, well, Mr. Wright.
Let's get this cross-examination started. After the incident. Pearlie was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. So, where did you think Pearl slept that night?
In the spare prep room, next to the training hall, I guess. There was a rule that you can't enter the training hall during an acolyte's training.
But even so, why did she go to the inner temple in the first place?
It seems that Pearls became very worried about Maya.
She knew that the spiritual training I was about to undergo was very intense.
Pearls was supposed to channel Dahlia Hawthorne, but she couldn't do it. That's why she headed to the inner temple. However, Dahlia Hawthorne was already there, possessing the body of Elise de Nim. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. She searched the entire inner temple site, end to end?
Well, you see, Pearly gets pretty scared when she's alone, and there weren't that many places to look. She says that she even went back and forth several times.
Actually, by the way, Pearls is very independent and doesn't get scared when she's alone. Remember, she like travels around the city by herself and stuff? But anyway, game, I'll let you have it. The inner temple side has 2 structures, the training hall and a spray prep room.
And there's also a storage shack, I think. That's about it.
There's a storage shack too? Pearls was looking for other people, right? Would she have really examined a storage shack all that carefully?
Well, if it was me, that was the first place I would investigate.
So that means it's possible that someone may have been hiding in the storage shack.
The next day, went to...
Oh, sorry. I always read these in my voice. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. Pearls didn't hear the sound of them working on the bridge?
What do you mean?
I was just wondering why she would stay in the prep room. If it was me, I'd at least go out and wait at the foot of the bridge.
Oh, well, Pearly said she was sleeping at the time. She said she was so scared during the night that she couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep well and woke up a bunch of times.
Poor little girl, all alone like that.
Well, we know that she had at least one friend in the sacred cavern, Dahlia Hawthorne, who was busy battling with the trick lock.
She couldn't let anyone see her. So she wouldn't have shown herself to Pearls. That's right, she said someone entered or whatever.
What happened after?
So she hid herself in the back of the cavern.
What happened after the battle was? What happened after the bridge was finally fixed?
That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the Inner Temple for the first time. So it was your first time on the Inner Temple side, Mr. Godot?
That's funny. Am I imagining things, or did the defense ask me a question?
Mr. Wright, please save your questions for the witness.
What you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony. Those are your words, Your Honor.
Touché, Mr. Wright. I did say that. Oh well. What do you have to say, Mr. Godot?
Hot nights and even hotter coffee. That's what I always say. If it hadn't been for this case, I never would have visited there. A freezing cold temple in the mountains. I think I'll pass.
So he had never visited Hazakura Temple or the Inner Temple, huh?
Ha! You want to say something, Trite?
In any case, I have to find a crack in Godot's armor. While I cross-examine Maya, that is.
Very well. Please go on with your testimony. After fixing the bridge, the policeman came over to the Inner Temple side, right?
Yes, then Mr. Godot.
He found Pearly first and cheered her right up. He cheered her up?
That's what Pearly said. She said he was a very nice older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict.
Ha! Cut it out. You're making me blush. Not that I can see that.
This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves, in more ways than one.
The truth is, there aren't that many places to look on the Inner Temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the gardens with fine-tooth combs, so I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way, Godot style.
I'm the same way. I like to hand down my verdicts. I like to hand down verdicts in my own way, judge style.
Maybe I should ask some questions, Phoenix style. Let's ask about Godot's investigation. You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything?
It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trite. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern.
Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles.
The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall.
Beauty?
Misty Fey, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh yeah. She's covered in gravy. Because of Western tastes. Could he find a stranger way to describe gravy? How did he know that? Oh, that's the contradiction. Oh, Godot. How would he know that there was a woman under the gravy unless he was there before?
So, from there you headed for the prep room.
Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise and him. Alright, so how do I present that? Next day, the bridge is fixed. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. But he would have seen the gravy-covered scroll, but he wouldn't have seen Misty Fey on it. Mr. Godot. The first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went into the inner temple was long before the murder took place.
Why do you say that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall.
Hanging scroll.
But Mr. Godot is right. That scroll shows a picture of my mother.
Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you don't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this.
What is that wonderfully delicious smell?
It's probably been a while, Judge. I don't know if you want that. The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. What? Was much more than a condiment to the culprit? What am I reading? Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scrolls until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Fey.
Oh, wait a minute, Nick.
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll. Look, at the top, there's a crest there.
Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly. So, if you know the meaning of the mark...
Then you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Fey on there.
I mean, I guess you could. Yeah? I guess. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh...
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the inner temple long before the crime took place.
Can I ask you just one more little thing, Trite?
What is it?
This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that the crime was going to be committed.
That's right. Otherwise, there's no reason for him to sneak into the crime scene.
Of course, Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
What did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of that plan?
Yeah, because like half the letter was still unburned by the incinerator. This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fey authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in Fey Manor for a year. However, by the time little Pearl found these instructions, oh, that's right, they'd already been unsealed. I forgot about that. Somebody had looked at the plans.
Unsealed.
Yes. The killer had read these instructions long before Pearls ever found them. That's how we knew the crime was to take place at the Inner Temple.
And you still insist this crafty killer is me?
You bet I do.
But you just said that the instructions were hidden.
That's right. Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden.
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out.
Yes, and when was that?
During a visit.
Visit?
Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden.
Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center.
Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot.
Order! 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 Mr. Godot, you're under fire again.
This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one who could have acquired this information before the murder.
Humans are afraid of the dark, and yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee.
Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean?
It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit, where he learned of the hidden plan for a crime. After discovering the plans, he hid at the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness.
That's right.
If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do this? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I've got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her.
Well, you do, bud.
I am what you see. I am certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress.
The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for a lack of better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this poor witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural.
However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it. You figured it out, didn't you? Haven't you, Nick?
Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason, huh?
Okay, Trite, I'm all ears. Let's hear it.
It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you.
What's this?
There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably. Yeah. Wait, why was he being covered for? He was covering for Maya. I'm not really sure what you're asking. There's a very good reason why Maya Fey's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. I thought Maya was covering for him. She was. Remember early on in her testimony, she was trying not to reveal that it was him. She was like, oh no, I slipped up or whatever. And this whole time she knows, but she's not telling us. We're having to uncover it piece by piece. Because he did all that to like protect her, to save her, right? So she doesn't want him to get in trouble for it. She's Mia Fey's only sister.
Mia Fey.
You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney.
Wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney.
With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? I know, the piercing intellect thing. I swear Phoenix gets more sassy as time goes on.
Last time someone called me by that name was over 6 years ago.
Diego Armando. That name rings a bell.
It should, Your Honor. All this is related to a single case. A case in which the convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court, the tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. Also, Edgeworth was there, but who cares? She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked. Because remember, Misty was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne and had just hit her with the staff. Like Maya was literally under attack, and then Godot stopped her from getting killed. It's my fault. It's my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself.
Mia, you like how I look without a mask? It's been a while. Can't cry yet.
Ugh, the metal part. I freaking love that part.
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over,
Which is a thing that Mia repeats forever throughout the series. By the way, so you thought Maya channeled Dahlia. Correct. So what happened was, he killed Elise Denim. She's dead. Dahlia's not in her body anymore. Maya's like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? So she channels Mia and leaves her a note saying this is some crazy stuff just happened. Mia then tells her to channel Dahlia and lock herself in the cavern. So she got channeled right after that. There you go.
The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith in her clients, that pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly investigated that fake kidnapping incident. Then, one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since the trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria.
Ah, now I just remembered. 6 years ago, right here in this very courthouse, you were poisoned.
Even I didn't see it coming when I had my normal eyes. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee.
Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press.
But you weren't dead at all.
No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep coma.
I see.
My body shut down and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison did a real number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight and all of my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
That's terrible. But your beard isn't white, just to be clear.
Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. Then one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee.
That's a great detail.
5 years. You were asleep for 5 years.
No one had brought coffee into my room for 5 years, that's why. The worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything I thought I had. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death.
The woman you loathed.
The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Ha, good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. In the end, there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
That's so sad.
For someone like me, or someone who had slept away their best days, there were only 2 reasons left to live. And it was for those 2 reasons I decided to become a prosecutor.
If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live?
The first was you, Trite.
Huh? Me?
If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did.
He blames Phoenix because he knew he would have been there to protect her, but since he wasn't, and Phoenix was the only one there, and he failed, he blames Phoenix.
You were the only one who was there to protect her. But you let her die. It was all your fault.
It wasn't like that.
I wanted to see for myself what kind of a man you really were.
So that's why you became a prosecutor.
My other reason for living? She goes by the name of Maya Fey.
Huh? You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Curain village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her.
That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center.
I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep the girl from being caught up in it.
I could keep that girl, sorry. That makes sense. If Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya, she never would have helped out.
Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices.
Accomplices.
Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. It was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't control Pearl Fey.
But how did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean officially?
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government.
Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of the Curain had a great authority.
Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. The police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Maya probably should have asked Edgeworth at some point about her mother. Just saying. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget. No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about you.
She was always...
That's why I knew she would do anything to protect you. If you want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was, just look at her staff.
Her staff. The one with the sword in it.
The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough, when we met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fey if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother!
That night, the night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan.
You mean Pearls? Don't you?
We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight?
Well,
If you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we could read some books together.
Pearl's voice is super deep and manly, by the way, even though she's like 9.
We thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but she never showed up.
She was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
That was the thing we were most afraid of. And that's why Misty Fey had to do the channeling herself. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body.
what? What do you mean?
If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself.
As Master of the Curain, Misty Fey's power was supreme. So that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fey wouldn't be able to.
Ah! Ah!
What? Is this true?
My role in the plan was to make sure that no one was going to hurt Maya Fey. That's why I hid myself at the Ender Temple, just in case you needed to be saved from Dahlia Hawthorne.
Godot!
Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to, right?
Huh?
There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself.
The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fey, and I'm sad to say you, Mr. Godot.
Well tried. If you're the real deal, then finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick, please don't.
Maya?
I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia and me too.
Maya, I know that.
Nick,
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify.
Miss Fey, your testimony, please.
This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. I'm sure you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
All right, young lady. Tell us about the moments before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed and I lost consciousness.
These red lights. I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
I'm sorry. I thought I saw them, but then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Ha! Things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Fey? Looks like you still can't prove it.
Maya's telling the truth this time, I know it. The rest is up to me.
Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of the witness.
Oh boy, this case, I forgot that it actually becomes sad. And like, painful. The old painful way to end the series, oh boy. Oops. Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. Lights shining in the dark? I don't think you can make a mistake about that.
Yeah, you're right. I think I saw them, but I can't say for certain. And I can't tell you for sure that they were from Mr. Godot's mask either.
I don't get the feeling she's covering for him anymore, but just after that, you turned towards the lights and called for help. Isn't that because you thought the lights were coming from Mr. Godot's mask?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe that's what I was thinking at the time. But can't remember. After all, there was a person I couldn't identify in front of me.
Maya's life was in terrible danger at the time. There's no way she can remember the details of the scene perfectly.
Alright then, let's go on with the testimony. What did you do when you saw the red lights?
I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. That blood? Was it Dahlia Hawthorne's blood?
I think so, probably. Just at that moment.
Well, I mean, not really her, but
I heard a soft scream that seemed to be close by. It was a woman's voice.
So that was when the killer stabbed the victim from behind with the murder weapon. Is that right?
Without a doubt, Maya was in the middle of a really dangerous situation.
Anyway, the victim was stabbed by the murder weapon. What happened after that?
I just want to be clear about something. Godot was the one who was like stopped the court from ending and pressed for this to happen. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Struck back? How do you know that?
Well, you're right. I didn't see it exactly, but I could tell by the sound of their breathing and movements, and also the smell of blood.
You have witnessed more horror than any young lady should ever have to in one lifetime. Remember that time you were kidnapped, and that other time your sister was killed and we tried to blame you. And anyway, so then, what did you do at that point?
I couldn't move. I could just barely make out their shadows moving in the dark, but I had no idea what to do.
Could you still see the red lights you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I think so. But
Suddenly the red lights went out and the whole area was dark. They went out?
yes, suddenly I couldn't see them at all.
What could it mean?
If the red lights were coming from Godot's mask, and they went out right in the middle of a fight,
Maybe the mask was damaged.
or maybe it was knocked off.
Or maybe the batteries ran out. Right?
Or maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working.
Pinhead? What? Maybe those little red pinhead-looking lights just stopped working? What? Pinhead? What? What could have really happened then? Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, that's right.
The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it was a man's voice.
What?
And now it's time to point something else out.
So then, that scream came from the killer.
That's gotta be it. Remember that when we examined this knife, all they knew is that it didn't match the victim's. That's gotta be it.
I think Alia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh?
After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me.
It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder. I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction.
That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct.
What? Remember the testimony she gave. The testimony she just gave before the killer let out a scream. Maya said that she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade in the staff had already been plunged into the victim.
Is that right?
She couldn't have been struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. She couldn't have struck back with the sword in her body, sorry. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff.
If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite.
There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here.
Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff. What could she have used to strike back at the killer?
The knife. The dagger. Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree.
Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me.
I did it, pal. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this. And she managed to wound him as well.
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim.
Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned that it wasn't the victim's blood, It must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body.
So you're saying the blood on the dagger belongs to the killer?
Exactly. A DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood.
Nice theory, right?
Order. Order in the court.
Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test.
Ha! Let me ask you something, right? Let's just say that it turned out that I was the killer. Do you really think that I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that?
What?
Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought it to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom.
Yes. What does that prove?
Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and then planted another person's blood on it.
It can't be.
In any case, there's one thing I can guarantee, right? That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance.
What?
In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. All right then, witness. Continue your test.
Wait a minute.
What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation.
Now she's the ace attorney. Maya?
This dagger. You said that it wounded the killer.
That's right.
But Mr. Godot had really been cut with this. If Mr. Godot had really been cut with this dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right?
Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes? That would solve the contradiction pretty easily.
What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder. Everyone that was on the inner temple side of the bridge got trapped there.
That's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the inner temple.
Mr. Godot was already there, waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes.
Order. Order in the court. What does the witness say?
Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him.
But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes?
Did the judge take smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on him. Just a naked Godot running around in like 0-degree temperatures stabbing people.
That's impossible, right? You know how cold it gets up there late at night. After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid.
Again.
That's all you've got? I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this.
Again.
Right now, if Mia Fey were here. If Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already.
If Mia Fey were here.
Come on, Trite. Can you do it or not?
He's basically testing Phoenix now. He put himself in this situation and he's just pushing Phoenix over and over again.
How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer, but can you prove it? Have you even got one piece of evidence?
The question isn't whether or not I can prove it. Whether I can prove it or not. Maybe he put on extra clothes and took the upper layer off, the ones covered in blood. I don't know. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. Oh wait, yeah, I remember the dagger part. That's right. I know what happens. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. Get him, Phoenix. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. It's the music from game 1. Here we go.
Ha! That's good. A fighter till the bitter end, right?
Gotta save this in a separate save slot. How about this callback? I freaking love that they play this song again.
Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty?
You get one shot. Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need.
Give me a break. You've got nothing right.
So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I gotta think outside the box and approach this from a different angle.
Alright then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got.
There's one thing that I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger.
But we decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a bloodstain on his clothing.
There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound.
What did you say?
Hidden.
This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. If I don't need to think about why there was no I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on the clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound.
It's the end of the line. The final stop, right? Let's hear what you've got. Where's the location where you would say the killer hid his wound? Ha! I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trite?
Did you see that? For just a fraction of a second, Mia was there.
What was that just now?
Also, we're hearing Godot's thoughts, which has never happened before.
Mia. It can't be. You're living on through him.
Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask! During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound underneath there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Ah!
A lawyer can only cry when it's all over. Just now, I saw her spirit in you. I never liked you. 6 years ago, you helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let me die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer.
I was actually following after my buddy Edgeworth, but anyway.
I could never forgive you. That's what I thought.
Mr. Godot.
But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me.
You yourself.
I was the one who failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth. to escape from the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask, I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit.
But you saved Maya!
Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? I had really wanted to save you. Then there's one person I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? Are you talking about Nick?
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother, but I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. Do you know why? The real reason.
No, why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all.
Huh?
I think I was just trying to salvage what's left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia, nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation that I knew was dangerous. Forgive me.
You're wrong! You put your life on the line to save Maya.
Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really sure.
What do you mean by that?
That night, in the darkness of the garden, when I saw her silhouette, part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing in front of me. It could have been Misty Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It was like I was dreaming.
You didn't even know if he killed Pearls.
I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. Was I really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya Faye? Or was it something else? Was it my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? And now, I don't know anything anymore. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. Stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people.
I just missed a ton of what happened because Mia and oh boy. Well, Godot's explaining his reasoning for why he did what he did, and he's saying, you know what, maybe I wasn't really trying to protect Maya after all. Maybe I did it for vengeance. Because he's like, I saw Dahlia Hawthorne and it was like a dream. I just stabbed her. And he said, but I knew it could have either been Elise or Pearl, and I didn't know who it was. I just stabbed anyway. And he's just saying, right, actually, he's saying he blames himself, and he's like, it wasn't your fault, right, that Mia died. It was my fault and mine alone. I'm the only person who I can't forgive. And yeah, I don't know. He's saying, yeah, right, you picked up where she left off.
As a true defender of the people. That one moment, I understood everything.
Mr. Godot.
I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando, I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
Thanks.
The only time the lawyer can cry is when it's all over and there's some blood coming from underneath his mask. Although I don't think it's tears.
Your wound, it's bleeding.
Ah, did you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears! Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr. Armando,
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over.
This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant,
Yes, Your Honor.
although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body and the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very carefully. I knew the risk and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright.
Oh, I always remember this part. No, this part is so sad.
I want to apologize to you
Apologize to me? For what?
for the case 5 years ago, of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover?
Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, I can hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister, you only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
First time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day that she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way! It can't be true. I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 8 months, the woman that you thought was Dolly Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
Huh? It wasn't Dahlia.
I hope one day you can forgive me. Beanie,
You mean...
that's right. I lied to you. For 8 months.
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought that you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for, I didn't want any more sins on her soul. Begged for her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why... You came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place?
But I couldn't get you to give it back. They failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. So she killed Doug.
I don't know.
She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
Yeah, that Doug guy really did have it coming, didn't he? That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed
Noticed what?
my feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her. Even if it meant her life, or mine.
Iris!
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed.
I have something to say to you, too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Do you remember back in the day he was like, my Dolly wouldn't do this? Dolly wouldn't do that, or whatever. He's like, what's wrong with her? She's not acting like herself. It's because he knew Iris the whole time, not Dahlia. You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found guilty, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
You and I are alike, right? We both like the spirit medium ladies. I'm more of a main branch man myself, but you can take the side branch if you want.
Anyway, sorry.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I will tell you though. Right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so, Phoenix Wright?
Calls him by his name. Oh yeah! Heck yeah! Yeah, I think you're right. That is great. I just love that.
The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Denim. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant
Not guilty.
Court is now adjourned.
February 10th, 4:51. So, guess it's all over. The way everything ended, is justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by my own hand.
Of course, justice was served.
Oh, of course justice was served. Mia! I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant. But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. The man who cared so deeply for you. You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible. You mean, with that verdict? I think one day you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me. Yeah. You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. Mia. I'm sure we'll meet again, someday, Phoenix. I've handled a lot of cases, and I've seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? I suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick,
Maya!
I guess it's just like my sis said.
Mia? What did she say?
At night when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this was what she wrote back in my notebook.
Don't worry, Phoenix will save everyone in the end. But...
Come on, cut it out with that gloomy face. Can't you see? Me, sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick.
Maya, how? How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your own mother murdered.
Ouch!
Oh, youch! Francisca! Tell us softy as always, Phoenix Wright.
Excellent work, right?
Huh, Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. And I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Franziska have actually been helping me.
Helping you?
If these two hadn't been here on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow, but where were you and Nick? I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head.
Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth, and you too, Franziska.
I don't suppose? Is that Gumshoe? I don't suppose. Nope.
I don't suppose.
It's Larry!
There's room for me in this group hug, is there?
Did the game designers plan everything regarding Dahlia and Iris since Dahlia was first introduced? Yes. Because that was all the Dahlia stuff was contained to this game. But I think they purposely incorporated Morgan Fay and the DL6 and the DL6 incident into it, basically.
Oh, Larry!
What's with the longer than usual face?
I realized something when I was reborn.
Oh, by the way, there was something you missed when you fell asleep. Larry was following Franziska around, being like,
Let me draw you, please. Let me draw you.
and he was like, I'm gonna make a children's book called The Whippy Whip Franny Trip or something like that. But anyway, I think that. Anyway, let's get on with this.
I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone, not even once. It's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me?
Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right?
Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. Of course you do, Larry. Definitely not useless.
I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I was gone for good.
No. Oh yeah, those portraits you painted, they were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth?
What? Me?
Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy?
Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say that they lack resemblance.
Do you really mean it? What about you, Francie? Well, did I draw you well, too? And
my beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognize the effort you put into it, and that's worth something.
So then you'll do it, like you promised. You're gonna model for my next picture book, Franny's Whippity Whip Trip.
Don't get carried away. Yeah, there you go. He mentioned Franny's Whippity Whip Trip before.
Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. The painting of Pearl was pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh?
Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around.
Pearls? Where could she have gone? Normally she would have made a beeline for Maya.
Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly.
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all that's happened.
Yeah. To be honest, I can't understand it either. Franziska. That's right, she lost her father fairly recently as well.
And I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only one who was badly wounded by this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry.
Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya? Edgeworth, I think I'm starting to understand too. Ow! Oh, ow! Tell me then, Phoenix Wright, who is Maya Fey being strong for? Little Pearly. Pearl Fey. The poor kid. After all, the reason she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fae clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya Faye's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. That's exactly why Maya is putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, till she can see her smile again.
Oh, hey, so this is where you all were. Wow, looks like we got quite a bunch here today. Ow! What was that for, sir?
Sorry about that, Scruffy.
My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe? Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary just kinda sorta gone down by a teeny weeny bit, but it's alright. I made reservations at this first-class French restaurant tonight. Wow!
Pretty good work, Scruffy.
That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe, you said first-class French restaurant. You don't mean
Très bien. Where else?
I knew it. We're doomed.
Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal.
Of course he did it for Maggie. Because he wants to see Maggie, probably.
Hey, you, Crybaby, you're invited too.
It's like the first time he talks to Larry. Hey, Crybaby, you can come.
Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser's shack eating potatoes.
You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya, what's wrong?
Nick, what do I do? Pearlie, I can't find her anywhere.
Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all.
I thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before.
As I figured, she's been badly hurt by this incident. She feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya.
Oh, but none of this was her fault. What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe.
Yeah, what is it, pal?
Could you guys go on ahead?
But what about you?
Maya and I will... We'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick!
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't want to miss it for the world.
Yeah, but you're the... Nah!
Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead. Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't.
But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to. Back to the office? No, back to the mountain? February 10th, Hazakura Temple, main gate.
Hazakura Temple.
The pearls, I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where the whole incident started.
What's this? You guys are back so soon?
Sister Bikini?
Oh, Sister Bikini. I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight. So she's here. Pearlie is here. She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her? Oh, okay. Pearlie's not here.
Ah! Maya, the hanging scroll.
Ah! Someone cleaned it off.
Which is weird because we had it in court and he could smell the gravy on it, and yet somehow it was also here. That's never explained in Ace Attorney, how you have the evidence and yet it's still in other places. I always thought like you took a picture of it, but they literally could smell the gravy on it, so anyway.
Someone cleaned it off.
It's gotta be pearls.
Ah, Mystic Maya.
Pearlie! Why did you leave like that?
Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya.
I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Because it's all my fault that Mystic Maya's mother.
That's why you came here?
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness.
You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course, I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm still happy.
You don't have to lie just to make me feel better.
No, really, it's true. The only reason I'm still here is all thanks to everyone who is there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. If even one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't be alive right now. Well, I guess if Pearly wasn't there, none of this would have happened, but I'm trying to cheer you up, so anyway, that's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them.
Just want to point out that Diego Armando got to that letter first and could have just destroyed it. And Pearl never would have found it.
That's all I can really do.
Mystic Maya.
I'm impressed. You really are the daughter of Mystic Misty. Sister Bikini. Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I wanted to tell you what she said to me that night.
After dishonoring the good name of Kirain, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya is always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die.
Her spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets.
She'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters have to follow, isn't there? You never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the master's talisman.
Why didn't he destroy it? I think he wanted to test Nick, and I think he wanted to like try and stop it and like be a hero and foil the plan instead of just, I don't know. The whole thing is that Misty kept by her heart. The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. Rather, it was the contents.
That's...
Oh,
A photo.
Ah! Mother.
it's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for others. But who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure of what human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. That's the picture she kept. Of Mia breaking the vase. Or Mia helping Maya put the vase back together when Maya broke the vase. It runs in the family. You gotta break the vase to, like, become the master or something. Maybe that's where you get your spiritual powers from. Because these are all the characters that have high spiritual power. All Morgan had to do was break that vase. Anyway. Even when the battle is over, and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando. And Maya's mother, too. I've learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. This is a day to remember, a day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But I still can't.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise. You know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for three for when you come back. Wahaha! Wahaha! Wahaha!
Okay.
Alright, we're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance.
Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight. There's one thing I don't get, and probably don't want to, but
What is it, Nick?
reservations for training is fine and all, but why for 3?
Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us. One of us, one of us.
Huh?
We'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you.
Huh? Huh?
It'll be great, Nick. We're going to do this special course, naturally.
Huh? That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right?
We'll have a nice big meal before the next time before we come next time, right, Nick?
I was wondering if I can say just one little thing. It better be objection.
Sure, of course you can.
Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm getting goosebumps too.
Well then, here goes nothing.
I really have to work extra hard now. Master of Curain and the office manager of Right and Go Law offices, and I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that.
These would go really fast, so I'm gonna do my best to read them. It's true, Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I heard there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think I'll surprise the 2 of them by making them a secret reservation. The last line's always way slower. His coat's cleaned.
Mickey bought me a brand new coat as a present, pal.
I feel 10 years younger. I never would take it off.
Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess the dirty, shabby old overcoat is more than like detective-like, sir.
Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly.
Dang it, Gumshoe. Now I get to see the wrap-up.
Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Curain exhibit are a great success. Was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip, and said that I must show you what I've learned. A whip.
Dizzy and I started a company called Mask to Mask Consulting. We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of the criminals of the city. Our motto is cut it out, please. Pretty cute, huh? Well, we also sell our plans to criminals as a kind of side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals. Oh, Ronnie.
Stupid people.
I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigre. So I lent him $500,000 and a tea set, a special thick tea, one I mixed with my own 2 hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise. Hee hee hee. Hee hee hee. I'm just an old man anyway, wrinkly, grumpy clown, nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. When my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day, talk about embarrassing. 69-year-old man and cried like a baby with a dirty diaper.
I can't remember his voice.
I think it was like this.
Or something. I don't know. Who cares about that guy? Go away, Victor.
As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenelg. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Mata. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly.
His name was also the same forward as it is backwards.
More reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do.
Palindrome.
I think the magazines like us because we provide such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back. Wah-ha-ha! Wah-ha-ha-ha! Wah-ha-ha! Wah-ha-ha-ha!
Where's my Larry? Give me my Larry. Give me my Larry.
You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come and visit me the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but it felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Phoenix Wright. Ben Judd. That guy's kind of a butt in real life, but anyway.
And where's my end?
Oh, look at this guy's name! Look at this guy's name! James Wilson. He's the guy who like gets these games translated, and he's also the basic voice of Phoenix Wright. He does other stuff too. Oh, freaking Wendy.
What's this? I'm back from a long, tiring vacation and no one's here to greet me. I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I got no one. And what kind of a lonely, crazy circuit room is this supposed to be anyway? Well, with all the flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And wow, now what am I doing with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone? I'll bring back over to Edgy Poo. Since these are some, I can't accept these, I'm afraid, or something and painfully frail are. Oh, well, no, ever a gentleman, ever a fine lady. Rat-a-tat, rat-a-tat-a-tat.
He like leads a translation team or something. Yeah, he can speak Japanese, if I remember.
I finally found something I love to do. Franny's whippity whip trip is gonna turn the art world on its head. I should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist, a really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all.
There's his portrait. Oh. Sure, it doesn't... Yeah, there's like nothing new. There is one other thing I wanted to show you that I found the other day while I was looking around. It's just credits, but the song is sweet. Nice way to end it. Well, I hope you like the series. 35 parts to this series. It's crazy. Takes a long time to get through these games. Even like the end of this game, parts, 35 parts. Yeah. Even just like the end of this game that I didn't like actually present that much stuff. There was just a lot of dialogue. That was 3 hours. I had barely actually played the game, other than pressing a few times. I'm always sad that Godot goes to jail. Oh, I guess since we're not gonna see the fourth part, I'll just try and tell you like who reappears, who's not there anymore. A sort of like continuation of different characters. I can't remember if Gumshoe's in the fourth game, but he's not in the fifth and sixth. And I don't think he's in the fourth game either. I think we don't see Gumshoe anymore or hear about him. Edgeworth will come back multiple times. I don't think he's in the fourth game, but he is in the fifth and sixth. I can't remember seeing Franziska ever again. We see Emma Skye a bunch. Emma Skye kind of replaces Maya. Until we get Athena. Because Maya's not really around a whole lot. Maya's in the sixth game. But I can't really remember her in the fourth or fifth game. Of course, Phoenix is there. Phoenix in the next game sucks, though. He turns into Hobo Nix, and he's like not even like Phoenix at all. I can't think of who else. Like, is there any other characters we care about? We don't really see Mia anymore. Yeah, Nick becomes a piano player and a poker player at like a bar, and we never see Godot again. We never find out what like really happens to him. We just assume he goes to jail or something. The fact that murderers are executed in this world means that we probably will never see Godot again. I know. He could have prevented the whole thing if he wanted to, but he didn't. He wanted to have it play out and like try to interact with it and be the hero, and didn't believe in Mr. Right when he could have just gone to him. And he realized he was arrogant, and he realized his mistakes, and it was kind of too late. I love his story and his character, though. He's definitely like my favorite. He does get a little annoying with his coffee drink sound effect and his random analogies, but when he's not doing that stuff, I think he's really cool. Like when he cries blood and when he goes and smashes a cup in his hand. Edgeworth is great too. I like that he continues to come back throughout the series. He's usually not like the main focus though, and neither is Phoenix. It's really about Apollo from here on out. Apollo is okay. Yeah. Yeah, Apollo just yells a lot. But yeah, Godot was like Godot knew that like he had basically sinned. He had basically messed up or whatever, and And so he was the one who like didn't stop the trial, and he kept like pushing Nick to like figure it out, and he wanted Nick to basically prove himself. And then at the end, Godot was like, "I was wrong. You're actually good at this, right? I should have just like went with you all along and like told you about the whole plan, so it could have been avoided." Yeah. All right. Well, but if that happened, we wouldn't have a sweet case to end on. If they ever get game 4, I'll play it on stream. I hope they do game 4, 5, and 6 all together. I don't really feel like playing through game 6 again because it's been so not that long ago, but by the time we get there, I'll probably be ready to play through it again. Which game was the fan one? Oh, the fan translation one was Investigations 2. So I think we actually, if we were going to go in chronological order from when the games came out, we go to Investigations next. That game is not that good, though, fortunately. So, like, the second you play it, you're like, wait a second, the budget or something like wasn't right on this game. It feels like a little cheaper, a little chintzier. Music feels just a little, it's like a hair worse. It's like everything just feels just a little bit worse for some reason. It's like they didn't put enough effort into it. And it is just a random spin-off game, so it kind of makes sense. But I heard the second one was great, and I've never. When did the most recent one come out? The most recent one came out in I think 2017 as a Japanese exclusive, and it was the one where it's like Phoenix's ancestor or whatever. But it was the sequel to that game, so there's 2 of those that never came over here. And yeah, so now there's 3 games that never came over. There's those like ancient Japan ones and one of the investigation games. I want to play Investigations 2 so bad, but I don't know if it'll ever actually officially come out. So one can hope. I was trying to see if there's any news about Ace Attorney the other day, and I didn't find anything. So I hope the series isn't dead. I hope they bundle and resell 4, 5, and 6. Try and make more money off the series. Maybe you can get a fan translation. See, I probably can, but then I'd have to play it on like my 3DS or whatever it came out for. And I can do that, but then I can't like show you me playing it, right? Like my 3DS is just sitting right there, but can't stream it. So yeah, at least I'd get to play. Hey, maybe that would be a good gift sometime. I saw that game when I was in Japan, and I was like, and I also saw Etrian Odyssey 5 when I was in Japan, and I was like, because they took forever to translate that game compared to all the other Etrian Odyssey games. I was like, why can't I read Japanese? So. Was it translated in English? Nah. Oh, well, I mean, they were. Or that one was. Attorney Trilogy 5 was. It was just like months later, and those games were usually like a month apart from translations. Oh boy. That was fun. I like the part where Phoenix has a cup of coffee and he's like, yes, it is good, isn't it? Whatever. It's over. Oh, nice. I got my 1,000 jewels. We grinding 50 freaking thousand enemies this month. All right. Well, I guess the next thing that I stream is gonna be a Paper Mario game. Cause got it right here from a fan donated this game to me. Sent it right to my house. just use my military grade combat knife to slice open the tiny film. $150 military grade combat knife. Cellophane isn't that tough. Yeah, but this is Paper Mario cellophane. It's the most origamiest of all. I don't know what I'm saying. You know, I could always crack it in and just wake. Oh, did you know that these cartridges taste terrible so kids don't eat them? Like if you just you just give it a little, you just give it a teeny. Yeah, tastes bad, and it leaves a taste on your tongue too. But anyway, it's always the same taste. I've tasted it like 6 times, okay? I know it's always the same taste. For science, I've done this, alright? I'm just saying. For science. People need to know that you're not supposed to do that. How do you know if you don't put it in your mouth? I don't know. But that was such a good idea for them to do that, because they were like, oh man, we sell children these little games, and what can we do to make so that children don't eat our freaking games and they make them just taste horrible? So back when the Switch came out, it was all about tasting those gross cartridges, man. Gotta get them gross cartridges in your mouth and give it a good old taste. I seriously heard it from so many people that it tasted bad that I was like, but now I have to lick my Breath of the Wild cartridge or whatever, and I did, and I was like, why are humans like this? What do you mean? What do you mean? Super smart and intelligent and stuff? Assuming that's what you mean. How long does it linger for? Oh, I don't know. I didn't get much of a taste on there. We could time it if you want. For science. What have I done? He's like, what have I done? Okay, I'll lick the back of it. Okay, I can't taste. Well, now I can't taste it. It's probably way worse if you put the whole thing in your mouth, but like, I'm definitely not doing that because you can like see the little like pins on the back, and I don't want to freaking lick that. I just licked like the little top part, the little black part there, so I didn't like lick the sticker. No. I just licked the little plastic black part, and then I wiped it. I didn't do any damage to it at all. I don't think it would. These things are probably a little bit more resilient than we think, but still, I don't want to. Does it taste like? It's not like anything I could even describe to you. It's like literally if you tried putting something in your mouth that is obviously not supposed to be eaten, it's going to have a flavor that's not a food flavor, and that's definitely not a food flavor. I don't know how to like explain what it tastes like. It's almost like metallic mixed with like burnt. It's like burnt metal, maybe? Something like that. Like, you know, if you like taste copper, like it doesn't taste that bad. But just imagine it like super burnt copper or something. Like I just sit there and lick copper all day, but like, this would not copper that's been burned. Anyway, oh yeah. Hey, what did I do? Oh, that's what I did. I ate a penny when I was a toddler. Well, you are what you eat. Ooh. Oh, that's awesome. How do I know what game is in my? I don't just pop this thing open. Pop the game. Is it Risk of Rain? Oh, I have Risk of Rain in my system. I freaking love Risk of Rain. Yeah, I bet that hurt. Holy moly. Let me find my Risk of Rain cartridge thingy. Or case. Cartridge. Oh yeah, I'm wearing shorts. I'm not wearing the pants. Sorry to break the illusion. I know it's around here somewhere. It's like somewhere right on my desk. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll just put it in a case. Gonna text before seeing those shorts. Yeah, what's up? Oh, Scoot. Uh,
Especially.
do you like run? I just did like the big finale. But I dressed up, except well, but yeah, they can't see it until I'm like,
I just
well, like it's over, so talking, but I am on stream. Yeah. No,
Katie.
not unless you. Right now, my mom is on.
Hi, Katie.
Said hi. Red stripe match. That was on purpose. Said hi. How are you? All right, I'm gonna stop wearing the suit. D key sticks. Oh yeah, yee. Kanye. Yee. He's in dress on stream where you can get banned. Excellent choice. I'm only taking this off. Put it on the hang. Wait, where it will only be once more before it just sits there for like freaking ever. Closet. Use for Zane's wedding, and then shoot, I don't know. The next time I'll probably wear it is my wedding. I don't know. Oh, that's so much better. It was so hot. Woo! Can you come to the wedding? Yeah. Well, yeah, you'll be invited. Please play basketball just like that? Wait, why? What does that even mean? Play basketball in a suit? Look at this tie. This freaking tie, dude. I've practiced for so long to learn how to tie this stinking thing. I did okay-ish. Anyway, so I can play Paper Mario for a bit. Oh, there's an X. Yeah, I'll probably end the stream first, so that it like cuts it, and then I can start a Paper Mario stream. I know there's a way to do that without ending the stream, but I actually don't know how to do it. I guess you could just highlight two separate parts of it and rename. Which wait, no, I could actually just do that. That'll actually be fine because I have to re-up the title anyway. I have to change the title anyway. Hey, now I can finally close this tab. This tab with the Ace Attorney walkthrough. Oh, thank you. I shaved, and I got my suit out and stuff. I knew you'd like it, but for the stream. Actually, I'm gonna cut the stream because it'll give me a stream summary in my email to show me like how many people dropped by. I don't want to include the rest of this stuff in. So I'm gonna cut it, and I will be right back in like 30 seconds or something. Be right back.